I can
Okay.
see her.
Come and listen.
All right. Well, my name is Layla. I'm 22 years old. I have 3 kids, and I'm a recovering addict. I'm here because I live to tell my story. And with that, I would like to share my past struggles to help others like myself and all of you, to help you guys get to where I'm at today. Sorry, I might cry.
It's all right.
Okay.
Where's the Kleenex box?
Don't take the one by fire to need it.
I'm gonna need a syrup.
Okay, so my drug of choice is mainly heroin, but meth really took me down deep too. I first tried anything when I was 17, and it was downhill from there. I dabbled in both like a little bit, but it didn't get hardcore yet, obviously. But it does get that bad. I eventually did end up getting on heroin, and that stole my life.
You should coping skills with breathing.
Okay, I lost my daughter while I was pregnant with my son. And he was taken from me at the hospital. And that only caused me to get deeper into my addiction because I didn't want to deal with the pain of losing him. And so I just I used heroin every day. It was like my comfort blanket, you know. It was the hardest thing I ever went through. Having to see my kids supervised. I couldn't take them with me anywhere. I only saw them once a week for like the longest time. My case was open for like 2 years, and it's still open, but I have all my kids back. Let's see. Losing my kids, I was broken. I had no soul. I just felt like a walking body, you know? I couldn't function. So, let's see. I tried recovery many times throughout my addiction, but it didn't stick. I would be sober for a little bit, and I would just go around the same people. And obviously I got the same results, except each time I went back out there, my addiction got worse. It got worse the longer I did it. That's what, happens. Eventually at the end of my addiction, it wasn't fun anymore. I couldn't function without heroin. I had to do it every day to even, see my kids, or even to wake up. I instantly just had to do it, And I haven't done heroin in I haven't been addicted to heroin in 3 years. When I got sober this last time, I was just on meth. And you definitely can't function on meth at all. So I was just kind of they're really different, Like when you're on meth and you're up for weeks, you don't realize what's going on around you, what you're doing. You're not yourself. I was literally dancing with the devil. That's what I say, because it's really dark, and so let's see. So at the end of my addiction, I would just cry and think of my kids all the time, and I would just I didn't see a way out. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I just thought that this was it for me. I'm gonna stay in this way because I didn't know how to get out of it. You just don't. You're in this tornado, and you don't know how to get out. So I knew I wanted to change. Like I said, I just didn't see a way out. My mom is a very spiritual person, and I remember every day she would send me motivational messages from the Bible, and, you know, I just didn't write her back. And she prayed for me a lot, and she had prayer warriors praying for me too. Without her, I probably wouldn't be sober. And after everything, I just made her worry sick. I just don't even imagine how she felt. Because I know if one of my kids was out there like I was, I don't know, I'd be like a mental institution, because, and she saw me like that, you know, she saw her little girl go from being a sweet person, bubbly person, to somebody she didn't know anymore. Okay, so, but she knew, and God knew, and I knew that I would overcome this someday. I remember one time I was in jail for 13 days, and you know how you are when you're in jail. You just feel like, oh, I'm gonna get out and be so different, and I really thought I was. But so I was in there, and I saw this book on the ground. I don't know how it got in there or got on the floor, but so I picked it up, and I went into my cell and I started reading it, and it read, if you are reading this right now, it's not by accident. God wants you to give your life over to Him right now. Recite this prayer. And so I was on my knees in my cell, just begging God to help me out of my dark place, help me find a way out, and to forgive me for everything that I've done to my kids, to people, to my family, to my friends. Just have them help them forgive me, help them find in their heart to see that that wasn't me, you know. So when I got out, I wasn't different. You know, I stayed in the same toxic relationship. I was with this guy since I was 16 years old to when I was 20, and all we did together was do drugs, sell drugs, fight. Like, nobody even wanted us around them because we would fight all the time. Like, it's like, oh my God, here comes Layla and Shiloh. They're not coming here. You know? It was terrible. Like, we were homeless. Like, we had places to go, but not together. You know, it was like God was showing me, like, you're clearly not meant to be with this guy, you know? So, and I also stayed around the same toxic people. So, obviously nothing changed. And it got worse from there. I did start shooting up and stuff, and that's whenever, I mean, it just got really bad, and I started shooting up. But I don't really want to sit here and focus on my addiction part, because, I mean, you guys have all been there. You know how it is, you know what we do in our addiction, and you know how bad it gets. What I really want to focus on, sorry, is how I'm sitting here today telling my story after 6 years of drug abuse, and I mean, after messing with heroin, like, you could do it once and die, you know. So I know God has a plan for me. Okay. So what matters is how I finally recovered. I've hit rock bottom more than once. Losing my kids was one of my rock bottoms, but that wasn't enough for me. Being homeless and pregnant, that wasn't enough for me. Losing my family wasn't enough for me. Sorry. I had to be ready. Like 100% ready to change. You have to really want it in your heart, because you can go through all these things and it's still not enough, because you'll still use if you're not ready. So, let's see. Let's see, so in September of 2017, I found out I was pregnant with my third son, Zeke, and he's now 6 months old. And I just remember when I found out I was pregnant, I was thinking, God, I cannot do this to another kid. I don't want to lose another kid. I just can't do this, you know? So, let's see. I have to do something. Okay, so at this point, I had left my toxic relationship with Shiloh, and I had been with my current boyfriend, Randy, for 6 months at the time. We've been together for 2 years now. And, let's see. We were together for 6 months. We found out we were pregnant. I swore that God sent Randy to me, and the baby, of course. Even after finding out I was pregnant, it still took me 2 weeks to go to rehab. So I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was 10 o'clock at night on September, it wasn't the 17th because I got out of here on the 17th. So I don't know really what day it was, sorry. Okay, so it was 10 o'clock at night, and me and Randy had just gotten into a fight because I was still getting high, pregnant, and I was a terrible girlfriend in my addiction. I would talk to anybody who had it, and that wasn't fair to him, you know. But that's not who I am. Like, ever since getting sober, I've been completely loyal to him, you know. It was just, I was around who had the drugs, you know, so he kicked me out because I was still getting high, so then I was homeless. I remember I called my mom, and I just begged her. I was like, please take me to rehab. I'm ready to change. I want this. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't live this life anymore. I'm just done. I had nowhere to go. I was just alone. It was dark. It was like, just, I don't know. And something was just telling me, like, go. Just go. You can do this. Just go. And so I got into rehab that same night I called. And so I feel like that was definitely God, or whoever your higher power is. Like, that was God that got me in that night. He knew that I could not live another day. I mean, who knows what would happen to me if I would have stayed, you know, and not went. I would have, you know, lost that baby too and not got my kids back. Anyway, so there I was, homeless, hopeless, broken, on my way to rehab. But this time it was different for me. This was my 4th time in rehab. I was happy to go. Any other time that I went, I was mad. I didn't want to go. I was either doing it for DCFS, or I was doing it to get out of jail time, or just not for me, you know, like to prove to everyone else that I'm clean. So I was really happy. I was ready, and I was fed up with the way I was living in my addiction. It was either I come and get clean or I die. I've overdosed 3 times. But God said, this girl has a story to tell, and she's going to live to tell it. Whenever I died, I overdosed 3 times on heroin, and one of the times they had to hit me with Narcan 3 times to bring me back. And so, I mean, that's a lot. Usually one Narcan thing is enough, you know, but I was just, this one time there were 6 hours of, well, this one was on meth, and my body just crashed. And there's 6 hours of, I don't remember anything. I woke up in the hospital, and I was 18 at that time. That was the first time it ever happened. And it was crazy. I'm just glad I'm here today. Okay. Let's see. So while in rehab, I took it very serious this time. I had already been here before, so this time I focused on what to change about Layla, because that's really important, because no matter where you move to, no matter, you know, where you're at, you're always there. So I feel like I had to focus on changing me. And in my addiction, you lose yourself, you know. So here I am, 21 years old, still figuring out who I am, like figuring out who I am now. Like, I mean, right now being sober, I'm never gonna be the same I was after drugs, because I'm stronger now. And I've been through things that nobody ever should go through at this age, or any age, really. Like, I wanted to grow up so fast, and that caused me to get into the wrong crowd, and I was really rebellious, and yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that, but okay. Okay, so I had to work on forgiving myself for not being the mom I was supposed to be to my kids. I had my daughter really young. I had her at 16. So that was really hard for me. I wasn't ready to grow up. I was scared. I didn't know how to be a mother. Because before I had her, I didn't do drugs. I just drank and smoked weed. But, I mean, which is not hardcore drugs, but still, I mean, it's, if anyone's alcoholic in here, like, it's, you know, yeah. And weed always was for me. Like, I would try to be sober before, but then I would just, like, I'm like, oh, I can smoke weed, or, oh, I can drink. And no, it always, always, always led me back to my drug of choice. Now I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. I don't do anything, you know? So, like, that's just, I had to completely change my life around. Anybody I used to go around before, I don't go around. Now that I'm a little stronger now, I still don't go around them, but I do message some people, that I used to get high with, and I just, like, I try to tell them, like, you know, look at me, like, you can do this. And, because I really care about them, you know, like, there was a lot of moms out there that were going through the same thing I was, you know, like, we just be getting high together and just talk about our kids, and, oh, like, we need to change, and, you know, like, and here I am, like, I did it, and they can do it too, you know, so it hurts my feelings, and I'm like, I know that, you know, people are strong enough to do this, but, you know, you can't force them. They have, and I have to realize that, like, all you can do is just encourage people and, you know, remind them how strong they are, and remind them that they're loved, and whenever they're ready, they'll do it. Because I know that nobody could have forced me to go to rehab. You know, nobody, all the motivational stuff and all the God stuff went in one ear and out the other for me. You know, I was just like, oh, whatever, and still get high. So I have to put myself in their shoes again, because I was there just a year ago. So, anyway. So while in rehab, I felt in my soul that I had it this time. I was ready to change it all. My babies deserve to have their mom back. When I realized I was hurting them, that really helped me change, because I'm like, okay, you're sitting here and you're hurt because you lost your kids, and you're using to cover up your pain of losing your kids, but your kids are at home wondering where you're at, and why isn't my mom getting better? And my daughter, she was like, she's 5 now, so, like, she knew what was going on. She's like, would call me and be like, Mom, why aren't you getting better? I want to live with you. And it would just break my heart. At visit, she would just say that she wanted to live with me. She didn't care where we lived. She just wanted to be with her mom. So once I realized I was hurting them, and screw my feelings, you know, screw that I'm hurting. My kids are hurting. So I was like, okay, I'm old enough and strong enough where I can cope with my feelings. A 5 and 2-year-old can't cope with their feelings. Their heart breaks every day that they're not with their mom. And so let's see. Okay, so being sober is very painful at first. You have to deal with everything that you've done in your addiction, you have to deal with. You know, like, you're sober, all these feelings are flooding back, you're remembering stuff that you did. And I mean, it's not easy. It hasn't been easy for me to make it here to a year today. You know, I mean, it's been really hard. I've been triggered. I've had thoughts about using. You're always gonna have that. But, and what really, okay, so whenever I had my 6-month-old, he's 6 months now, I had him, and I hadn't had unsupervised visits with my kids yet. So he got taken from me from the hospital. And even though I had been sober for 8 months, at the time, he still got taken from me. Or 7 months it was. I don't remember. And so that broke me. I mean, I'm like sitting here 7 or 8 months sober. My son just got taken from me at the hospital. But you know what? I didn't use. I told myself, this really helped me. Do not use no matter what. And that's what I tell myself all the time. Just don't use. You can make it through this. Like, you have to prove. I was like, this is a test, you know. DCFS thinks I'm going to use after losing this baby. I'm not going to use. So I got him back when he was a month old. And I stayed strong through it. It was the hardest month of my life. But I made it through, and but having a relationship with God again, I've been really at peace with everything. I've been at peace with not being able to go around the people that I went around, not being able to just do the things I used to. I'm just at peace with it. Like, I don't want it. I don't want that lifestyle. I don't want to be out there anymore, you know, like, and you know what, like, I'll get so stressed out, and I'll go for a drive, you know, and, like, I'll just, like, sometimes in my addiction tells me, like, oh, it'd be so nice to, like, do something right now, you know, and then I come back to a house full of kids, and it just makes my heart happy. Like, that's what real happiness is, you know, having your family. And yeah, they stress me out, and some days I'm like crying at the end of the night because I'm so stressed out and the kids don't listen to me. But you know, I'd rather be crying because they stress me out than crying because I can't see them. So when I got home from, I already said that. Okay, so I kind of touched on this, but when they say people, places, and things, listen to that, because that is the truth. You can't go to places you used to go, you can't talk to people you used to talk to, and you can't do the things you used to do. I mean, at least for a while, you know, I don't know if you'll ever be strong enough to go around the people. I'm not. I don't think I ever will be. So, I made it my goal. Okay, when I was in here, there was a speaker that came in, and I just like really look up to her, you know. I was like, I made it my goal to come back here in a year to speak, and here I am. And I never. So September 17th was my 1 year sober. So, a year ago, sitting in here, I never would have thought that I'd be here today. I didn't think I was strong enough. I didn't think that I was gonna do it. I wanted it, but I didn't believe in myself that much, you know. I just took it day by day, and just told myself, you know, you have to be your best friend in recovery. You have to, because nobody, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have people on your sidelines, but you're gonna be the reason why you make it. So you have to motivate yourself every day. Tell yourself that you can do this. Like, look at your body like as a temple, you know? Like, you don't want to do the things that you were doing to yourself. Like, I looked so bad in my addiction. Like, I had scabs all over me because I didn't know how to freaking shoot up. I didn't know how to, like, I was just a mess, you know? I was skin and bones. I was just, like, you know, I didn't even want to look in the mirror because I didn't recognize who I was. I was so, like, Okay. So, after, hold on. So as you guys know, I got all my kids back, plus 2 more, because my boyfriend has 2 kids too. So we have 5 kids together, and I don't really want to stay in here, but okay. So in June, so I just got my kids back in June. So this is very, very fresh for me. Even after being it takes a while to get your kids back. If any of you in here have lost your kids, it's going to take you a while, because it took me 8 months of doing good, 8 months of doing good to get my kids back. You have to, through all the things I've messed up, you have to prove to them consistency. You have to show them, like, I'm really going to do it this time, because my case was open for 2 years, and in those 2 years, I was in rehab 3 times. I swore I was going to get out and do different, but I failed. You know what I'm saying? So they're thinking, okay, Layla, it's just another round in rehab. Like, you're going to, they root for you, but they're just maybe thinking that you're going to get out and you're going to do it again. So you just have to prove to them that you are going to do it this time. And, let's see. Okay, so, I think most importantly, I think the thing that is most important is that I have myself back. Like I said, I won't ever be the same person I was before drugs, but I do have myself back. Like, I'm happy. I'm my bubbly self again. I'm still sad sometimes, and like, but I have feelings today, like, I can feel. I'm not numb. I'm not, and I'm not, like, looking back on my past, and I forgave myself for everything I did. So, let's see. So, I tell my story in hopes to give someone like me hope that we do recover. And if I can do this, so can every single one of you. I have faith in every single one of you girls in here. You all have it in you to conquer your demons. And recovery isn't easy, but some days it's a challenge, but I can promise you that recovery is a lot smoother than being in addiction. If you do good, good things come to you. That's just how it is. If you do bad, bad things are going to happen. Let's see. But I wouldn't change anything I've been through, because what I've been through has made me who I am today. And with that, I hope to at least save one life, touch many lives, and give hope to all. Yeah. So do any of you have any questions? Or want to tell anything about yourself or anything?
Yeah. I kind of missed the first part. Were you in Gateway?
Yeah, I was here.
On the women's unit?
Mm-hmm. Yep, just last year.
And where are you from?
Taylorville. Yep. Yeah.
How's it feel to be back and see all of us addicts and you're clean?
It just, I can feel you guys. Like, I don't feel any different than any of you. Like, I can see myself here again, and now that I'm sober, I don't look at addicts any different, because I'm just like every single one of you, like, I don't know if I'll always, like, be an addict. I don't want to, like, saying that, but I'm always going to have a special place in my heart for addicts, because I've been there, and I know how you guys are feeling, like, you're scared. You don't know if you're going to get out and do this, like, I don't know any of your stories, but I can just, like, I can feel it. And so, yeah, I mean, it feels really good being clean and being, like, not being in here, but I don't feel, like, different or anything than any of you.
And you're young too, that's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have, no, it doesn't matter how old you are. You have the opportunity to change your life right now and be somebody completely different. Like, I mean, yeah, I may be young, but it's the same thing for someone who's 30. So you could change your life around right now and be whoever you want to be. So it's not the end for, you know, it's just the beginning, really. Yeah.
I just want to say, what do you do to remain? What do you do for your sobriety?
I don't go to meetings because I do go to church though. So my higher power is a lot of the reason why I'm here today. I pray a lot. You have to give, like, it's nice to give, like, just everything. Just give it to God, you know, and He works it out for you. So I just don't choose to go to meetings because I live in a small town, and if I go to a meeting, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be people there I used with, and I'm going to be triggered. I changed my whole environment, you know, like, so at church, I'm not going to see anybody I used to use with there. So, I mean, I hope to see them there someday, but yeah. So, I'm not saying don't go to meetings, because for some people it does work, and there's been a lot of people, success stories with people who have went to meetings, and it does help with some people, and some people church does, but you have to have a support group. I mean, that is very, very important. If you don't, I mean, you can't do this on your own. You can't. You have to have support. And if your family isn't supportive, then seek out a group that is supportive for you. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, this is, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Mary. I'm gonna turn this off, okay, Layla? Oh, here, you want it? My name is, don't get them yet. My name is Mary. I have a ministry called Talitha Kumi Ministries. The name